are trying attempt number, I don't know, whatever, this whole recording thing. Hopefully doing it this way, it is successful. So, mom is in, this is Mama Lisa. Okay, we recorded this a few times and we're just gonna try to remember what we'd said before and introduce ourselves. I am Lindsay. Today you're gonna learn a lot about me and what I've been through. Uh, that is Mama Lisa. And next week we're going to be talking about her. And she is my mom, so I'll call her Mama Lisa because that way I'm not being disrespectful to her because she is my mama. But you guys would have called her Lisa, so it's Mama Lisa on here. So we are going into attempt number, I don't know. We're not keeping track anymore. We've had so many hiccups. Mom, I think you have wind just blowing in on your microphone.
Oh,
Not to
okay.
suffocate you, but we're going to try to have somewhat good
Mm,
quality here. Somewhat good quality here. All
I
right.
think these are coming up.
So
Is it okay
the
now?
first time we tried, I think so. The first time we tried, we couldn't get it to record the way we wanted it to. The second time, it didn't record the way we wanted it to, and it looked horrible. The third time, it we got it to look better, but it wouldn't go on. So we are trying a new app, and we are trying to attempt, I don't know, whatever, 4 or 5 or 6, I don't know. And this has been going on for a couple months now, and we decided we were going to start over. For all of our clients and people that join on our Facebook, you've seen that we are trying to get podcasts going. It's been a little while. Yes, we know. Okay, so when we say we get hiccups on this thing, we mean we get hiccups. So I am monitoring babies, and one is still awake, so you might hear me talk to her on a monitor. Well, Mama Lisa is, as we can tell, she is in her vehicle because their AC went out and they're getting AC and new vents put in. So there's a lot of banging and scrape. I heard scraping. Banging and scraping happening at their house. There is still wind. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know you can't hear it, but I can.
I if I start it, I don't know if it'll shut us off. But for
Okay,
it to
so if we get shut off, we'll just blurp them together or something. We'll see what
here
we
we
can do.
go. Okay, now I'm going to shut it back off.
All right. Okay, we didn't get kicked off. So everybody's watching you roll up your windows
This is how you do it.
with a success. uh, so, what time were they supposed to start at your house?
Huh? Start
I
what?
thought you said like 9 o'clock they were supposed to start on that
Okay.
vents and AC stuff. Yeah.
They've been here since 9.
Were they hit there at 9? They got there right at 9?
Uh-huh.
Okay, because you were like, well, they're supposed to be here between 8 and 9, so they got there right at the end of their time slot.
Yeah.
And they've been there since. So, like, this was not planned for us that there be AC being put in at the same time that we are recording. Um, so this is again another hiccup that you may see on this setup, and what we kind of just fluff right through this podcast, any podcast that we might record. So, joining us, I am mom of my kids, and she is mom of me, and I am Okay, so let's start at the beginning. We're going to talk about my history today. Uh, and I might just quickly just summarize things so that this recording isn't 2 hours long. And then there might be things that I might like dig into more later, just for the fact of time. So, I guess I'll start back. mm, I don't know, high school, middle school. I don't remember when it was. I found out I had polycystic ovarian disease. I think that was freshman year, maybe
That was your freshman year, I
sophomore
think.
year of high school.
Um,
Freshman year of high school, I found I had PCOS, polycystic ovarian disease. And I'm a wiggle worm, sorry. I don't have a back on my chair. I only have a bench. Somebody stole my chair down here. So I'm gonna be kind of shifty. Um, so if you don't know, polycystic ovarian disease is where a cyst grows on your ovary. Sum it all up. Uh, and you'll hear me talk about PCOS as I continue this conversation, as we do recordings, all that kind of stuff. So if you've had PCOS, you might learn some things that I have learned throughout the years. And and I will probably cover a lot more of PCOS as we keep going, the ins and outs of PCOS and all that kind of stuff, because it is something you live with. It's not just something that comes and it goes. No, this is something you live with. You can make it smaller, it can grow. Um, so there are ways to help PCOS, but we will cover more of PCOS as I go into this conversation and into other videos.
because it affects your health,
Um,
right?
yeah, it does. It affects how you handle life and how you eat and how you have to work out and how you feel and also how you interact with people. Like it can affect your moods, it can affect other things. So, um, it covers everything. Um, so, so in middle school, I found I had PCOS. Shortly after that, I got, they called it a giant fibrotic. Basically, it's just a fibroid that grows. It was in my chest. They cut that up, and it was a horrible chop job. We'll just say that. They got it out. It was a snowman without a head. It was 2 centimeters by 2 centimeters. And it was a growing fibroid. Um, Now they just call them fibroids. Now you can get fibroids in your chest, you can get them in uterus, you can get them a lot of places. They're kind of like cysts. You can get cysts on your skin, you can get cysts on your ovaries, you can get cysts a little everywhere, but it just depends on what kind it is. They can be cysts can be a tumor but seem like a cyst, so they have to monitor those. Fibroids could feel like a fibroid, but actually be a tumor. So those are the things that you have to watch out for. So mine happened to not be cancer. It was benign. So they took it out, and I went on my merry way. That was my junior year of high school, spring break. So yeah, that was not a fun spring break. We did not go to the beach that year.
No, we
Uh,
didn't.
uh, what else happened? Let's see. So, um, for all those that are teenager with PCOS, it can also make you feel like if you see somebody who doesn't treat their kid right. I remember seeing people who didn't treat their kid right and feel like they were telling me I couldn't have a kid. It was going to be hard for me to get pregnant. Don't believe all that, first of all. Second of all, uh, when I saw other people with kids and they didn't treat them very well or wasn't being a good parent to them, it made me feel like, and I'm not going to be able to be a mom. How can God, give me this and I can't they're not a good mom, but they get to be a mom. But I could be a good mom and I don't get to be a mom. So don't think that way. There are ways to work around PCOS. Okay. All right. Um, so for the longest time, I had that mental stability, and what was it? I don't know. Many years later, well, hold on. They put me on glucophage due to PCOS. They were saying that I was borderline diabetic due to it because PCOS deals with insulin. Okay. They did not test my blood to see where my score was. They just, when you have PCOS, they just automatically, I guess, assume you're going to be diabetic of some sort, I guess, because that's what they did with me. They put me on glucophage and then they put me on a water pill. And I had what they called an allergic reaction to glucophage. Now they call it a sensitivity, okay, to glucophage. And I got taken off of it. When that happened, I ended up going to a dietitian and having to learn how to take care of my insulin through eating right. That was the start of my nutrition back
Journey.
learning, education, journey, doing this on my own. Okay, so if you do not like to go to doctors, raise your hand because I am one of them. I do not like to go to doctors. I actually have had
Oh, yeah.
lot of bad issues with doctors not being accurate. Now, I will not say there are some things you still need to go to a doctor for. Okay, I will say that because if you need a prescription, you still have to go to a doctor. So, if you're having a baby, you need either a midwife or a doctor of some sort. I am not going to say have a baby without having something. Okay, so uh, so I got told how to do things by a dietitian, and then I went and did everything on my own. And I actually did really good. I lost a lot of weight, um, and then I gained a lot of weight. Things happened in my life, and I just started eating whatever in the world I wanted. And when you have one of those like things in your life that make you just mad at the world and you got to eat your ice cream and your bonbons and your chocolate and your this is so good and you just keep on eating it and because you just feel like you need it to make you happy. Yeah, I went through a stage of that uh and gained I got up to what 100 170s 100 close to
You get up
180. I
there.
was thinking 176 maybe. And then I met my husband, and he was like,
Oh,
"You really need to focus." What happened?
okay. I guess you went on my pods. And
Okay,
are we okay right now?
we are.
Okay, let's
Are
just
you
leave it like it
okay?
is. Yeah, but my ear
Okay, so
pod
a
wasn't
hiccup.
on until now. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay,
We're fine.
she's giving blurps again. I told you we're gonna have those in here. We are not experts at recording. We are still learning a lot on this end, but we are trying to get information out and try to educate people on nutrition and fitness and all that kind of stuff. So if we are not the expert on the technology, we are more educated in the nutrition fit. So um, we are trying from both ends as much as possible. um, so where was I? What was I talking about before you interrupted?
I'm sorry. Um,
You're
you
fine.
were talking. You told them about the group
Oh, I
fudge.
gained weight.
Gain
I
weight. Yep.
gained weight. I gained weight. Okay. So I met my husband and he said that I needed to focus on my health. So I focused on my health and I lost a bunch of weight. Um, and if you know PCOS, to get pregnant, you have to lose weight. You have to be on the smaller end of what would be considered a PCOS patient. Um, and so I lost a bunch of weight. I got about, so I was 176. I got down to 124, 125 maybe. Um, I got in an accident and they put me on some kind of, I think it was a narcotic. Is that right, Mom? You
Yes, it
remember I got in
was.
an accident and they had that pain reliever medicine. I think it was a narcotic of some sort. I took it twice. Um, and the so with PCOS, you are more tense and high strung and a little bit more stressed than maybe an average person. So with that, me going on a narcotic due to me getting in a car accident. And when you get in a car accident, you tense up. So they're trying to release the stress, the nerves being tight. And then they figured out I lost the curvature of my spine up in my neck area. So it would have been like a pencil, a bowling ball with on top of a pencil, is how my head is on my neck. So I'm gonna get me the water. Where are you at on your water?
I don't know. It was a busy day. I didn't measure mine today.
Ah, this is my 60. So I've done
Good job.
20 and 40. This is 60. And then I have to still drink one more. So that's where I'm at in my water today. Um, she's clicking cups together. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, so what was the other? So I
Curvature of your spine. You lost it.
oh the curve yeah, so I went on a narcotic to help me relax after having an ambulance hit my car. Um, Due to that, um, it releases what's called an egg due to the relaxation. With PCOS, you don't always release an egg. Um, so I got pregnant um, with Isabella, and my husband and I got married, and all that in 1 month, and it became a stepmom all in 1 month, and moved. Sorry, I moved to Illinois at that time from Indiana to Illinois, and which is why we are doing a lot of video this way because she's in Indiana and I'm in Illinois, and we live like 5 hours away, and so we thought this would be the best way to do it. Do this recording. So um, I moved to Indiana and had Isabella. She killed my kidneys. Um, and I, how else do I say I had her? She had to be kicked out of me. They had to eject her out because she would not go. She is still that way to today. She loves to stay in her bedroom. So, the way they are in the womb, they are in real life too. All kids are the same way they were in the womb. Right, Mom?
Right. Yep. Pretty much.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
She's always in her room.
uh, I went and worked when I was in Indiana. I did architectural work. But now that I've moved to Illinois, at one point when Isabel was like 9 months. I did data entry for a warehouse, and I was there for 3 months because being a mom, uh, and working for a business that does not put family as a priority, you must put the business as priority. Um, and I was pumping from the bathroom on my break was not a fun scenario. So my husband was like, all of your money is going to gas and babysitting. So let's just bring you home. Good, thank you. That's where I wanted to be. So I came home, and a few months later, I got pregnant with baby number two. So Josiah was baby number two, and he is my busybody. He is
Oh,
crazy
is
busy.
he?
That's how he was in the womb. He was like, "Hello, I am here" when he was born. So he was probably my easiest delivery out of all of them. Uh, that's a whole nother story on its own.
He's a very active
Uh,
kid.
Very active. He was that way in the womb. He was that way coming out. He would not let me sleep that first night. The nurses had to take him so that I could sleep because he just wanted to party. I did everything possible. I was sleeping with that kid, sorry, in the hospital. That it was not working. That kid would not let me sleep. So he is still that way to today. Uh, More so during the day. Um, So then I decided to homeschool both of them. So a little bit of the homeschooling story. We did not plan to do homeschooling. It was just like, I'm gonna try this. I'm at home. We can do preschool. We're gonna try it. We're gonna search through this scenario and see if this is what we want to do. And that's what I did. Now, if you are in northern central area of Illinois, there is not a lot of architectural work to do. Um, so I would have to travel to like Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, bigger city areas to be able to get work to do architectural work. So I stayed home and did what the other options for my high school want to be list, which is cutting hair and being a teacher. Those all were coming out of me at that point. Um, and personal trainer was not on that list. That just grew. Um, so we started in preschool, and then he didn't say no after that, so we continued going down that route. And we've hit hiccups. We have we have had hiccups, but we've figured them out, I think, and we're still chugging. Um, and then COVID hit, and we were doing a co-op at that time, and we were deciding to pull back a little. And then it was like, yep, we're not doing this anymore because COVID hit us really hard. And we had to be home anyways. We ended up in Indiana when COVID hit because my husband for worked on cars for a living, and so because he worked with people, um, Isabella was born with three holes in her heart, and which makes you have a low immune system disorder. Um, and so I decided we were going to go to Indiana to keep her from getting it severely. And that lasted 3 months. It was an insane situation. Dad in Indiana, Dad was working from home, so he was not going into work. So it wasn't like he was bringing anything home. So everybody was all in one house. So we had grandma, grandpa, mom, and all the kids in one house. Um, and we were trying to do homeschooling and work from there during the day. Um, I think we came home after 3 months. When COVID hit, that's when I decided to work towards my certificate, my personal training certificate. Um, and when I came home, I continued that, and it was like a different world when I got back. It was just not the same way of doing things. Everything was different, um, but almost kind of peaceful. I don't know if you know, like, if you paid attention since and the world went back to somewhat normal. It was kind of peaceful in 2020. Um, you kind of stayed home and you kind of,
More
I don't know
peaceful
if
than
you
it
felt
is
that way.
now.
So, then what, 2021. So I worked towards my certificate. Then in 2021, I don't know, those that are actually friends with me, um, I did a cancer marathon. I was out to do like 50, 50 miles in a month or something for cancer awareness. And then found out shortly after that that I was pregnant during the 50-mile in 1 month. I was pregnant with twins, boys, and we called them Eli and Silas. And I'm just going to sum it up. They were stillborn. They had what was called SIUGR, and we did the best we could to save them. But I think God knew that we would have had to do a lot of things if Eli was saved and Silas passed away, still for Eli to continue, because his basically SIUGR is an affection of sharing blood with the whole placenta connection. And so Silas, who was baby B, was not getting enough blood, and baby A was sharing his blood with baby B. And so when baby B died, it put a stroke on baby A. So when that happens, they're connected to me. Then they were kind of worried about me because my heart rate went really high. And so there was a lot of all of that. Uh, so I had to carry two dead babies inside me for a day or two. And then they did what's called a D and E, for all those that have had abortion or had to have was considered abortion after a loss. Um, they normally do a D and D. A D and E is a little bit more severe. Um, they did what's called seaweed sticks to take out the moisture, and then they go in and clean everything up. Uh, I'm trying to think. They thought so my personal doctor thought that I had a D and C done, which when you have a D and C, you can wait 2 months and then you can try to get pregnant again. Yeah, that is not what I had. She thought that's what I had. So we waited 2 months and we had a miscarriage, with, excuse me. Um, my son had me name the miscarriage, so we call it Sam because it could be for Samantha, or it could be for Samuel, or it could be Sam and Sam if we had twins. We've talked about that one. So we call it Sam, and we had a miscarriage at 8 weeks. And then trying to think. Uh, when you are when you have a D&E, it is 6 months, not 2 months. So we did eventually find that out. Um, and then she wanted to test to see if there was something wrong with me. Um, because in the doctor's world, I lost the twins, so that's two. And then I lost Sam. So that's considered a three in the line loss. Okay. Uh, so in if you don't have twins, then you have three tries. But because I had three losses by then, they wanted to test to see if there was something wrong with me. They did 20 tests. I think it was like 10, I don't know, the max they could do of test tubes on me. And they had me sit in there for a little while afterwards, because they were worried about me and driving back with that much taken out. So I had to have like orange juice and crackers or whatever they had. Animal crackers, I think, is what I had, to get my blood sugar and my blood back a rolling afterward. Um, they did the test, 20 tests on my blood, and there was nothing. No cancer, nothing wrong with my thyroid, nothing. And I was mad at that point. At that point, it was like I just needed an answer, and there was nothing that they could tell me. And so you can't do anything if you don't know what to do. And so I couldn't do anything. I could only go by what my doctor could tell me to do, and that was like nothing.
So did she tell you
So
to wait a
she,
while?
no, no, she said that she thought it was my hormones. But to
Oh,
me, if you're testing everything, hormones should have been in that. But she put me on progesterone because she was thinking my progesterone was too low. Um, and that my estrogen was too high. All right, so a little something with that is that if your estrogen is too high, you get fibroids in your chest. And I was getting fibroids in my chest again at that time. When I had Eli and Silas, they went and had me do an ultrasound on my chest because of fibroids. Um, I um, so she put me on progesterone. So if you know progesterone, if you have too much progesterone, then you are basically on a birth control. So if my progesterone was fine and she put me on progesterone, then makes my progesterone higher. Now I'm on a birth control pill, basically. Um, it's going to keep you from getting pregnant if your progesterone's too high. So we tried and we tried and we tried. Yeah, we weren't getting pregnant. I think we went for like 5 or 6 months of not getting pregnant. And then my husband's like, let's get off of this. So I got off of the progesterone. And then we had, um, okay, so we have family that is in the foster system that came to and stayed with us. So we have some kids, a family that came to stay with us because they were working out the living arrangements for them. Um, and at the time, we were the only ones of the family that could take them. So we had them for a month. And during that time, obviously, we weren't trying. So we didn't get pregnant. And then we bought a house and we moved into it. So literally a year to the day of losing Sam to a moving in to the house. We signed the papers, got the keys. It was a year to the day. So we lost Sam April 7th, and we moved in the new house April 7th a year later. So then April 22nd, we tried again and we got pregnant. So almost a year is what it took for us to get pregnant again. Uh, we figured out in May that we were pregnant. Insurance was being a pain in the butt, so it took us really long time to get into the doctor's office. Um, we went to a friend's daughter's graduation, and she has goats. Here's a funny story for you. If you want a funny of me, here you go. Uh, she has goats, and she had a goat ultrasound, and she wanted to see what it looked like on a human being. And I wanted to know how many kids I had inside me, because we were known to have twins. And she put the ultrasound on. We saw one, and then I could see a bubble off to the side. And I said, "What is that?" Because she'd never seen twins before. And so she moved it over, and there was the second baby. So she got to see babies first with me on a Go ultrasound machine. No, I'm not a hillbilly. It's just called having fun. Uh, so um, I was pregnant with twins again. Uh, if you know twins, um, you can have uh, different setups inside. So if you have two circles with a thin line in between, it could mean that you have a Mo die. Um, if you have two circles with a thick line in the middle, it means that you have a die. So a Mo die could mean they're possibly identical. Die means that they're not identical. So when she did the ultrasound machine, I saw the thick line and I was like, this could be a good thing. Please God, don't let me go through this again. When we went in, my husband didn't want to hear anything. He did not want to know anything. We
He's
went
having a panic
in,
attack.
he found as soon as we said boy, he was for the first one, he was like, having a boy. So baby A was boy, and then baby B was girl. So when you get girl, which they couldn't tell me girl in the hospital because they were like, we're not sure. I go, well, what is those three lines? Like I was more of an expert than the ultrasound technician. I'm like, what is those three lines right there? I know what that is. And it was girl. So it's like I couldn't tell for sure because she kept crossing her legs. Okay. So it was a boy, girl. I mean, we all heard boy for the first time. We were like, oh no. And then when we got girl, made it understand that it was a die situation, not a Mo die. When you have anything with Mo with twins, there are more possibilities of complications. So that's why we really didn't want anything with Mo in it. Now, can you have a baby that is Momo or Mo die? Yes. And not have any complications? Yes. But there's more likely to be complications due to either one placenta, two placentas, and not running correctly, all of those kind of things. And we did not want to have anything possible of being wrong. When you have a die, you have two placentas. So I had one on the front and one on the back, and so that made everything hard to see and find anything. So, sum it up, they were healthy, but by the end of it, this mama was not. I could not walk. They were killing my kidneys. Um, they They were ready head down, but they decided the last month to go. side to side. So we had to have a C-section. With twins, they tried to take them at 36 weeks. They pushed me to 37 weeks due to Christmas, which I was only 2 days after Christmas, but it, whatever. I was ready to go. I was in the hospital at 34 weeks. Um, they were checking my kidneys. They were giving me steroids just in case the twins decided to come early. Um, and obviously they did not come early. They were ready to go though. I was ready for them to go. Um, so when I hit the third trimester, I had issues walking. When I went in for delivery for them, they were all on, both of them were all on my left side. Um, so they had to sew my uterus back in place. They had to, okay, normally people with C-sections, they're like this big. Mine was hip to hip. Um, and then when I, after I had them, my catheter, um, they had to pull it out. I had sensitivities, and so they had to pull it out. So they had to lift me to go to the bathroom. And anytime I went to go get up, I was still recovering from not being able to walk, so I wasn't walking to start with. And then anytime I went to go get up, it felt like all of my stitches on my right hand side, where they had to sew my uterus back into place, where my C-section was all sewn into, it felt like it was ripping. So there was that. So we were trying to get home. It was hard to have twins. They weren't used to having twins in the maternity ward. Um, Anytime I needed help, I had to push a button. I had to wait like 45 minutes before I got a nurse. Uh, and if I'm at home, at the time, I had my husband and my teenagers there if I needed anything, an extra hand or anything. So it was better for me just to go home. But to go home, I had to take care of doing dishes and show that I could move around to take care of my baby. Also, in the hospital, your bed is yay high. And when I'm at home and I'm on the couch, it's way lower. So when I'm on the couch, it was much easier to roll out and get up. So those are kind of things that you have to think about as far as when you get home, where are you going to go? It was easier for me to be on the couch than to be on the bed in the bedroom or to be in the bed at the hospital. So that was my journey with them. Um, when I was passed to be able to work out again after, 6 weeks, normal, whatever. Um, then started, I had to start, basically, I was able to start my journey as soon as I got home. Normally, you have to wait 6 weeks, right? No, because I had to train myself how to walk again. So my journey started as soon as I got home. I just couldn't lift weights and do all that stuff and start working out in that way. But I had to start from walking. So starting from walking, I had to train myself how to get up. I had to train myself how to stand over the sink. Guys, I had no muscles in my back. I had to train my back how to stand over a sink by putting my elbows over the sink. So I had to get those muscles in my back strengthened up, be able to move again. I worked so hard so fast that I had to be able to carry two babies in both arms and walk around and take care of things, or put a contraption, I don't know, carrier on me so that I could carry two babies at the same time. So if you have twins, or even sometimes babies will do it to you, that just getting pregnant, things go out of whack. Like when I got pregnant with the first two, well, with my second one, I got Connor tunnel, which is these fingers. And when I got pregnant with the twins, I got carpal tunnel, which deals with these fingers. So can I even grab anything anymore? Barely. That's why I still have to work my arms and my hands, is because it helps with that carpal tunnel. It helps get that healed up. Um, Now since then, I will say, I have literally had to throw myself back into work. I thought she had a book. Sorry. She has a basket over her face. Okay. Um, so I had to train myself how to, I mean, I am just now getting to running. Now, can I run out at the field? Yeah. But to do longer distance, it's very hard. Um, I've had hip issues afterwards. I mean, anybody who gets pregnant knows that like your hips get wider. When you're pregnant with twins, I feel like my hips got even wider. I don't know if that's true, but that's how I feel all the time. So I've had to really train on that. Um, I'll get into C-sections more, but when you have a C-section, you get cut both directions. You get cut from left to right and up and down. You have two directions of C-sections. You have to wrap yourself tightly to be able to get that swelling of your stomach to go down. Um, Even if you have a baby and you have swelling and they rub your stomach to get that swelling to go down. But with a C-section, you're going to have extra swelling due to the stitching. And so that's why they put the like a belly support wrap around. And I did that until it just didn't, it wouldn't fit anymore. So I ended up, I know this is funny. Um, I had to wear like tight underwear and tight pants, and she will come back. She'll be in and out. Um, so I had to wear tight underwear and tight pants to be able to bring that in, due to not being able to wear a band. And so uh, the, that's how I was able to help bring that in. Now that I'm in is small, it makes it really hard to make it go down more. I do have hanging of skin, that kind of stuff, and you could have hanging of skin. Um, that is like the recovery after the babies. But like you still get no sleep. And for losing weight, that makes it really hard. So breastfeeding, I couldn't breast. I pumped them up as much as I could, because I felt like they needed that, and I went as long as I could. Got them through the sickness stage of them being babies, and then when the weather warmed up, I had to stop because it just wasn't efficient for our lifestyle. Some people can go forever. Sorry, I just can't. They wouldn't latch on because, well, Elsie bit me. So that wasn't, I had to heal after that. So there was some of that. Um, Anything else I may be forgetting?
No,
I don't know.
I think
I just,
you had trouble at the very end after you had the babies, with your blood pressure, but then you got better after that. Does that make, was that right? No.
yeah, yeah, for the most part. I gave up dealing with doctors. I
But
was
I
at
wanted
home,
to,
my blood pressure was fine. I go in
yeah. And that's normal. Mine does that too.
and I go into the doctor's office and it was skyrocket. And they were like, I was like maybe one over, basically. Not like a lot over. And then they're like, oh, we want to put you on this medicine. I'm like, I took the medicine for a while and it messed with me big time. I just couldn't. And then they wanted to keep me on, and I'm like, I can't. Nope, nope, not happening. I can't do this. So when I'm at home, my blood pressure was fine, but when I was there, for some reason, it was what, one or two over. So, not way over, but one or two. So, and that was like, okay, whatever. So you will see through that story, I think you have a realization why I'm not big on some of the things that doctors do. Um, so you just try the best you can. You keep rolling. Um, and when I tell the story of Eli and Silas, you'll understand a little bit of that too with it because there was things that the doctors could have done from the beginning and they didn't. So they completely they wanted to say I was 8 weeks when I tried to tell them that I bleed with boys and I was 13 weeks. And then they messed that up in my charts, which messed me up getting into what's called a maternal fetal medicine doctor, and which messed up them being able to save them even earlier. So that's kind of the basic story on that. Um, but I think that's everything. I am, if you know me well enough, I do the best I can. I am a mom. My kids do snack on some junk food. Uh, do they gorge on it? No. Well, some of them want to, but no. Uh, um, but I garden, hence the name for my company, Garden Fit Decor. I garden. I try to take as much stuff that God has given us to eat. Um, but there are some things because my family is a big family that I don't have time to make. So you might see me say, oh, well, I'm using tortillas, but you could make homemade tortillas. Now, that's great. I would love to make homemade tortillas, but you know what? I don't have time to do it. So do the best that you can. Eat as much of God's food as you can, is the point of what I end up saying. Um, you have to make it work for your life, though. So spaghetti noodles, tortillas, that kind of stuff, we still eat, but I would love to make them from home. Um, but you will see like spaghetti sauce, all that as much as we can. We try to go completely natural out of the garden. So, um, anything else?
No, I can't think of anything.
I think that's my,
Eating out.
most of my story. She's trying to parkour to Kaylin. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh no! Look at her. That's hilarious. Sorry.
What do you
It's
think
fun
you're
watching them.
doing? Sorry. Oh, she jumped down.
Uh-oh, mom caught me. The eye caught me.
The eye. Okay, so the eye, here's the story to the eye. So the the twins have a camera in the room. It is white with a circle around the camera part that's black, and so they call it Mama Eye. Mama Eye. So I that's my eye right there that I'm watching them from the eye.
And they know it too.
She's mad. She's mad I caught her. She's now crying really loud, but Kaylin's still sleeping through it all. Uh, so yeah. Um, and when there's crying, as a mom, you will learn your brain shuts down. All right, I think that is the basics of my history and journey. I said, I will cover more details, some of those topics maybe in a later date. Not anytime soon that I know of, but that those are topics that I can throw in easily. Um, when we really need to have a topic thrown in there. So I will be coming back to some of those. Next week we will be going over Lisa history. Um, I guess it's next week. It's actually Friday for us, but on the podcast, it will be a week later, added to the podcast. So, um, hopefully we will see how this thing works because this is me trying technology and I'm half technology savvy. My kids, I feel like each generation, the more technology savvy they become. So like your generation, you have the basics down. And then my generations, we have a little bit more, but then you got Isabel and Josiah who are like, "Oh, you got to try this out, Mom." And I just feel like each generation they're getting becoming more and more tech savvy.
Oh, yeah.
That makes me scared for the next generation that's gonna be born.
You can compare
So,
your kids to the other kids, how different it is.
yeah, yeah.
That'd be interesting.
All right, guys, that's it. So I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.